learn how to speak positivity into existence. I got to sit there and learn how to keep my big damn mouth shut. Especially staying away from hitting myself up with my own dreaded Jeff jinx. Really. I'm not just talking about picks either. Just in general. But Jesus, when it comes to the picks, man, I got this bad way about me of on a given week, I'll sit there and my logic tells me don't do these picks. And I'll do them anyways. It's almost like I'm a woman in that sense. No matter how much evidence somebody presents to you that says don't do it, they will do the exact one thing you tell them not to do because that's their nature. That's what they do. Similar to men. And the Jeff jinx is powerful and it's real. And when I sit there and say, hey, I'm not that confident in my picks this week. I don't think they're going to go well. Well, what the hell did I think was going to happen? Of course they weren't going to go well. Really? Come on! You might say, well, you're still 9-6 picking winners straight up, but that sucks. And the 6-9 picking against the spread in week 13, that was an embarrassment and a joke. Ooh. Like, I gotta be more positive. Like, ground my picks in some logic, not just fly through them and then speak into the positive realm of what's going to happen and not put the Jeff jinx on myself. As those of you that have followed me for a long time, you know, we reference and talk about the Jeff jinx, and that mother's real. Like, it is absolutely real, especially when I call my shot. It's really real. I got to stop doing that to myself. Got to overcome that. And when we get into 2021, the Jeff jinx needs to die that year. That's all I'm saying. Well, at least I got off to a good start on Thursday night. The Rams beating the Patriots. They did it in a big way, easily meeting the 4.5-point spread. So my belief is that I'm going to do much better this week. That's what I'm shooting for, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start now with my picks for the week. Of course, as always, it will be in the description box. You, of course, are able to go against me in the comment section. Give me your picks for the week. For the season, I'm 129-63, picking the winners straight up, and 107-86 against the spread. So like I said, in general, it probably is the best season of picking I've done since I started doing this whole YouTube thing. But it feels like I want more, and I can always do better. So the early games on Sunday. The Houston travel to Soldier Field to take on the Texans. I don't give a shit what the point spread is.
Give me the Houston Texans, and the fact that it's only Houston -1. I can't believe that clowns are going to Vegas and other sports books and still putting money on the Bears. Why the hell would you do that? Why? For a team that lost 6 in a row? And now you got the Deshaun Watson revenge game? I hope he comes into Soldier Field and beats them down. Monster, massive game, because that's what he deserved. And also, that's what the Chicago Bears organization deserves for passing on him in the 2017 draft. So, yeah, give me the Texans -1 all day long. You got Dallas traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Frankly, neither one of these teams gives a crap at this point. They don't have their starting quarterbacks, so they act like they don't care. Well, I shouldn't say that about Cincy. I think they at least try to care. They're just not very good. Whereas the Dallas Cowboys legitimately don't care. And I will admit right now, and here I go, I'm about to put the Jeff jinx into existence, but I've got to think that even at 3-9, like the Cowboys have to demonstrate that they care even a little bit at this point, maybe? Or they're just so not bought into Mike McCarthy and they have decided to roll out the Sherman tanks and they're going to lose every game the rest of the year, which might not be the dumbest thing in the world to do. I'll take the Cowboys -3. Like, the Bengals have nothing to play for. And because of the division that they're in, the Cowboys do still have something to play for. So maybe they'll actually come out and do something. But I will admit totally that this should have been a pick'em game. I can't believe Dallas is being favored by 3. On what planet? On what planet? Got the Chiefs traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. I'll take Kansas City -7 here. A little cautious, though, because Miami could be a little scrappy for them. But I think that KC just has too much firepower for them offensively. You got the Cardinals traveling to New York to take on the Giants, and all of a sudden this is a big game that you probably wouldn't have thought would have been a big game at the start of the year. Now, when it comes into December, it's a really big deal because the Giants are sitting there, you know, in a race in the NFC least, chance to win the division and get a home playoff game, even at 5-7 right now. The Cardinals are at 6-6, and they're looking at themselves and saying, you know, we got to win a couple more games just to even get into the playoffs here.
And God knows I want them to win out the rest of the way because every win that they get puts the Bears that much farther away from the playoffs. That's what it's about right now. Lose it all, Chicago! So I will take Arizona minus the 2. They're going to do it! Minnesota travels to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. Honestly, I want the Vikings to win this game. And you're going to say, well, they play in the same division as the Bears. Why would you want them to win? Because, A, I want the Vikings to screw up their draft position as much as possible. B, I want them to put some space between themselves and the Bears when it comes to the NFC playoff race, so that way when the Bears keep losing games, it doesn't keep them in the playoff race, and eventually they're mathematically eliminated. That said, I got to think 7-5 Tampa's going to come in and feel like they really need to have this game, and frankly, they probably do. So I think Tampa wins, but I like Minnesota to cover the 6.5-point spread. You've got the Broncos traveling to Carolina to take on the Panthers. I like the Panthers in this spot. Carolina minus the 3. Now you've got Tennessee traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jags. Like, you see the 7-point spread, and I believe, you look at this and you say, okay, Tennessee, I believe, handled them pretty well earlier in the year. But now this is in Jacksonville. This is a team. You're talking about divisional game. Lots of familiarity there. Anything can happen. I worry sometimes when I see those bigger spreads in some of those divisional matchups. It's like you look at last week. Look at the Sunday night game, wasn't it? Kansas City really struggled with Denver, and they should have had no business struggling with Denver. That should have been like a 3-touchdown victory. Instead, they got lucky to get out of there with a win. So I like Tennessee to win here, but there's something that's telling me pick the Jaguars plus the 7 to cover the spread. The Sunday late games, you got the Colts traveling to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Certainly a game that could have some serious AFC playoff race implications. Colts are favored by 2. I'll take the Raiders plus the 2. Hey, when you get a victory like you got last week if you the Raiders, like they were dead to rights in that game against the Jets. And Greg Williams said, my last gift to the Jets is I'm going to go all out blitz in a Hail Mary situation. And then the corner's going to play incredibly poorly in coverage and be way out of position. Like, the one thing you can't do is get beat deep. So then you're going to sit there and bite on a double move. With that, the Raiders got a gift. Feels like in the holiday season they want to give themselves another gift. I'll pick the Raiders to win plus the 2. You've got Seattle hosting the Jets. Seattle's 13.5-point favorites again with Seattle. It's a little bit of a tricky game because this is a game they should win in a rout. But then is this the type of game that they make kind of close? I'll give them some credit this week. Seattle minus the 13.5. Green Bay versus Detroit at the time of recording this. There was no line for this. I'm taking Green Bay regardless of the spread this week. So give me Green Bay and whatever the spread ends up being. You got New Orleans traveling to Philadelphia to take on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is at the helm of the Eagles now. How about that? It's almost like it's a good idea to continue to invest in the quarterback position because you never know what can happen from one year to the next. Oh, who would have thought that, huh? So it's an exciting time maybe if you're an Eagles fan. Maybe you get something out of Jalen Hurts these last 4 games of the year. Maybe, just maybe. You still have a chance to potentially win the division. Like, stranger things have happened. I do like New Orleans to win here because I do think they're obviously the much better team. Although, New Orleans is one of those teams that their record's pretty good, but are they really good? Now, they're probably going to, I think, have Drew Brees back for this game because that certainly should build some confidence for him and help. And I think I just broke the arm on this freaking office chair. God damn it. Anybody else ready for 2020 to just be over? It's been a freaking nightmare. I'll take the Saints to win, but I'll pick Philly to cover the 7-point spread. Give me the Chargers plus the 2 over the Falcons. Like, I understand maybe you feel like the Falcons have played better football lately. The Chargers are coming off of that 45-0 drubbing at the hands of the Patriots last week because their special teams were a joke and everything else went wrong. But this is a Chargers team that I don't see as being that much worse than the Falcons. So I like the Chargers here. Give me Los Angeles plus the 2. And give me San Francisco minus the 3 over Washington. That was a big win for Washington last week, no question about it, over the Steelers. But, maybe the 49ers still looking at it. They have an outside chance at the playoffs. They're coming off an embarrassing performance on Monday night against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, so they're going to come out with a bit of a vengeance here, I would imagine. The Sunday night matchup should hopefully be a really good one. You've got the Steelers traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. The Bills are 1.5-point favorites here. Like, how is Pittsburgh going to respond coming off of their first loss of the year? Like, is it a potential that it ruins their focus a little bit and makes them doubt themselves a little? It could. And then for Buffalo, this is a team that's just quietly been in the mix and
I think personally Josh Allen is a legit MVP candidate this year. And you look at them and they're saying, hey, you got a chance here to potentially get the 2 seed. Maybe. Not really. But who knows? But you want to make sure that you put enough distance between yourself and Miami that you can feel confident about winning the division and at least getting a home playoff game. So this is a big game for both teams here. Pittsburgh, if they want to stay in the race for potentially getting the number 1 seed in the AFC and getting the guaranteed first round bye, like they need this game. I will take the Bills minus the 1.5. And then Monday night, hopefully this will be a good one. Baltimore travels to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Baltimore's favored by 1 here. Kind of interesting. Like, this feels like this is more off of reputation or lack of belief in Cleveland than it is anything else, and maybe that's undeserved. Because the Browns have had a very good season, and the Ravens, admittedly, have been a little bit disappointing. Maybe the Ravens are starting to piece it together and figure it out now, and as a result, they're going to come out and play better here on Monday night. That's possible. I don't know how incredibly likely that is, but you'll see. I like the Baltimore Ravens here, so give me Baltimore minus the 1. So those are my picks for Week 14 of this 2020 season. We got this week and then 3 more, and then the regular season is over. That's nuts. Oh, my goodness. Anyways, thanks you guys for checking it out. Let me know what you think of my picks. Let me know your picks in the comment section below. Later.